Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I stay productive as a stay-at-home mom of two as well as a wife. But without further ado, and hop into my video. So the first thing I have to talk about is definitely get yourself on a schedule. Your kids will run better on a schedule. Your whole life runs better when everything's put on a schedule and everyone knows what comes next and what's expected of them during certain times during the day. I'm kind of dabbling into block scheduling, especially with our homeschooling. I have to set a certain amount of time every single day aside for homeschooling, and that's one thing that is never interrupted. It doesn't matter if my house is a disaster, if one of my kids is sick, if I'm sick, if something is going on, we have a doctor's appointment or something that day. Those 2 hours every single day, homeschool. Nothing else comes within those 2 hours. So if you're not interested or you don't know what block scheduling is, it's basically like from 8 to 9 a.m. you eat breakfast, and that's all you're doing in that time is eating breakfast. And then from like 9 to 9:30, all you're doing is cleaning up breakfast. So you just kind of you have one certain task set aside for each amount of time throughout the day. So definitely get yourself on a schedule. It makes things so much easier, especially when it comes to cleaning. Get yourself on a cleaning schedule or a cleaning routine. That definitely works great for me. So everything needs to be on a schedule. Everything runs so much easier that way. The second thing is lists. I have a list sitting right in front of me right now. I have another list on the other half of this piece of paper. I live on lists. Every night before I go to bed, I make a list of the tasks that need to be done the next day. Maybe that could be filming a video, editing a video, cleaning, homeschool, what our homeschooling tasks for the next day are. Things like that. I live off of lists. I love those little notepad papers that you can get from Walmart for like 97 cents. I get them pretty much anytime I'm running low. I'll go and pick up a couple. I get them from the Dollar Tree sometimes too, and they have little magnets. You just stick them to the fridge and you can just write away on all of your lists. I love lists. Make lists. When there's so many things going through your mind, I feel like the more kids you have, the more jumbled it gets up in here, and just putting it down on paper helps me remember what exactly I need to get done. And sometimes I forget. Like, I've had plenty of times where I realized, oh, I have a doctor's appointment later this afternoon we have to get to, or things like that. So if it doesn't make it to the list, forget it. The third thing I'm going to talk about is getting away from the house. As a stay-at-home mom, I can go a very long time without leaving my home and realizing I haven't left the house in like 2 weeks, and it drives me bananas, especially in the winter months. For anyone who's new, we're stationed in upstate New York, so we're pretty much snowed in from like the end of October, beginning of November, all the way until like April, sometimes May. We're snowed in under blizzards. We actually have a blizzard coming in right now, and it's hard to get out of the house because it's not like I'm taking the kids to the park. We're not going on nature walks. We're not playing in the backyard, things like that. So I can go a long time without getting out of the house. So you need to schedule time for yourself to get out of the house without your kids. Doing something for yourself, whether that be taking a grocery trip by yourself, or just running out of the house and getting yourself a cup of coffee, or maybe it's a Target run, or a lot of the times you'll find me at the gym. I love the gym. I go to the gym a couple nights a week after the kids go to bed. I have to. It's my pride and joy. It's my time for myself, and you need to schedule times like that because otherwise you're gonna drive yourself bananas. So a good way to stay productive is to make sure that you're taking time for you, because if you're getting drained and you're tired and you're just like not recharging your battery, you're not going to get anything done. You're just not, because you're just going to want to sit on the couch and do nothing because you're tired, and you need to take some time for you. So make sure that you're recharging that battery to make the whole house run smoothly, because that definitely lands on you when you're a stay-at-home mom. Number 4, or the fourth thing I want to talk about, is make sure you're rising before your kids. If you guys watched my 2019 New Year's resolutions, I'll link that video for you guys. I was talking about how I wanted to get on a better morning routine because I had kind of fallen out of habit of this, waking up before my kids. So I'm happy to say that I've definitely started to do better with this, rising before my children, getting my cup of coffee in the morning, washing my face, brushing my teeth, maybe putting on a little bit of makeup before my kids wake up in the morning. And it definitely allows me to be way more productive throughout the day, just getting that extra, even if it's like 15 minutes. Sometimes I wake up, like I said, 15 minutes before my kids. Sometimes I'm able to get up and out of bed an hour and a half before my kids. And on those days, I love to just get my cup of coffee, sit down on the couch, light a candle because it's usually kind of still dark out. The sun isn't quite up yet. And I love to turn on Joyce Meyers and I watch one of her sermons or one of her preachings. And I can kind of spend time between me and God and just kind of recenter myself before my kids wake up. It definitely allows me to start the day on the right foot, and I just feel so much more empowered and so much more motivated throughout the day if I spend a little bit of time in the morning with God before my kids wake up and the craziness of the day starts. So I would definitely suggest waking up before your kids, make your bed, do something simple. Like I said, even on those days where I only roll out of bed 15 minutes before them, and I can just wash my face and start my cup of coffee and kind of let the caffeine sink into my body and kind of wake up a little bit. Those days always run so much smoother. The last thing I want to talk about on how to be productive and keep yourself kind of on top of things is to meal plan. I will link that video up for you guys as well. I think it was a month ago or maybe 2 months ago, I don't even know. I posted how I do my meal planning for my family of 4. I do my meal planning for a whole month all at once. I do one big grocery shop at the beginning of the month. I do that for a couple reasons. A, because it keeps me productive and on top of things. I make out my whole schedule. I write it all on a calendar, what meal we're having that day in particular. So all I have to do in the morning is kind of get up, look at my calendar, figure out if I need to set out any meat for that day, any cheese for that day to kind of defrost throughout the day so it's ready when supper rolls around to be cooked or to be used. And it saves me so much time, so much money, because I'm not in and out of the grocery stores all month either. So it definitely allows me to be so much more productive, because it's not like 5 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I making for supper? And then you're like scrambling, trying to put bits and pieces together to get supper on the table in time. And then a lot of the times you're trying to do it and you have kids crying because they're hungry and they're throwing fits and they're getting hangry, and it makes the whole process take so much longer than it should when you have kids hanging off of you. Especially like in a situation like me where my husband's gone a lot for work, like he's training all of the time, and I mean he can be gone for like 4, 5, 6 months at a time, and it's just me, and my kids are really close in age. So you have 2 toddlers hanging off you, trying to get supper to go. You don't have an extra set of hands to help, and it can be so much more overwhelming than it needs to be. So being productive for me is just staying on top of things like meal planning, just get it all done. It takes about an hour every month for me to plan my whole month's worth, and then I literally do not have to think about it at all the rest of the month. So I would definitely suggest checking out that video. Get yourself some meal planning, girl. So those are kind of all of the things that I do to help myself stay productive as a stay-at-home mom. I know everybody has their own little tips and tricks, and everyone has their own quirks, and I guess at the end of the day you just need to find what works for you. If you have something that's working for you, leave it down in the comments, because who knows, it might be my new favorite thing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!